There is one thing that is no longer an argument. Jokic is the most efficient basketball player who has ever lived. That's not an opinion. It's a statistical fact. He owns the highest career player efficiency rating of all time. Better than Jordan, better than James. This magician has 3 MVP awards, and it should be 4 straight because since 2020, he has been the best basketball player on the planet. There were plenty of basketball legends at Ball Arena to watch Nikola Jokic achieve the first ever 30-point, 20-rebound, 20-assist game in NBA history, including a hoops icon who has always been extremely complimentary of the Joker.
The fast-paced game is so many possessions in the game. The whole offense is centered around him making a play. I'm actually kind of surprised he hasn't done this before, but he's been so close. He's all-time great, man. All-time great, and that's pretty normal. And crazy thing is, it didn't seem like he had those numbers. I looked up at towards the end of the overtime. I was like, oh shit, 30, 20. That was crazy.
Jokic finished with 31 points on 13 of 22 shooting, 3 of 7 from 3, and 2 of 3 from the line as he snagged 21 rebounds and dished out a career-high 22 assists. It was the second most assists in Nuggets history to Fat Lever's 23, who was in the house to be celebrated as a franchise icon. But nobody who has played hoops in the Mile High City is as iconic as Jokic, and this may go down as his most legendary game. The occasion was just the 3rd ever 20-20-20 game, joining Wilt and Russell Westbrook, let alone the extra 10 points. And Jokic now ties Oscar Robertson with 15 times of reaching 15-15-15.
He's a all-time great. You're not going to take nothing away from him, actually. You know what I'm saying? He averages a certain amount of points for a reason. So just playing hard, you know what I'm saying? We could live with playing hard, him hitting shots over. So Mace played extremely hard, fought him the whole game. He's just Jokic. He makes shots. Now, I'm not saying that any part of his game is weak or, we living with a certain part of his game. It's just the fact that players like that, you just got to play hard and see what happens.
Asked to describe his incredible feat, the typically humble Jokic said,
thank you guys. I think I'm gonna see this and then think about this when my career is over. I always say that it's some kind of legacy that it's gonna be nice to go when I finish my career in my couch and I had a really good game. So
the 2023 Finals MVP is assembling a campaign that belongs among the all-time greats, putting up nightly stat lines that border on the surreal. The Denver Nuggets franchise cornerstone is averaging a triple-double for the season, a feat unseen this decade. David Dennis Jr. argued Jokic's dominance goes beyond mere numbers. It's about separation.
I think not only is Jokic the best player in the league, the gap between number 1 and number 2 in the league is as wide of a margin as we've seen since LeBron James was with the Heat or since maybe in Jordan's era. Jokic is on an island by himself putting up Wilt numbers in this era of the NBA.
Jokic has been the best player in the league over the past few seasons. Somehow, he keeps getting better. His team was in desperate need of three-point shooting. So he decided to turn himself into a 43.0% shooter from deep this year, ranking 6th in the league. Jokic currently ranks in the top 3 in points, rebounds, assists, and steals per game, which has never been done. His own coach said it best. As amazing as Jokic is, it seems like he has never been fully embraced by the American public. Part of that has to do with his reluctance to be a superstar. He can come across as indifferent in interviews. He would prefer for his game to speak for him. Still, Jokic should be more popular. In the first half of this season, he was 10th in jersey sales. Some might argue that it's because he's from a different country, but that doesn't make sense considering how much Luka Doncic is beloved. Jokic might not win the MVP this season, but nobody in the history of the game has played basketball more adeptly than him. Coach Michael Malone had a lot to say about the MVP race.
My thing is this, if you didn't know that Nikola won 3 MVPs, and I put player A and player B on paper, and you had no idea that the guy who's averaging a triple-double, the guy who's top 3 in the 3 major statistical categories, things that no one's ever done, he wins the MVP 10 times out of 10. And if you don't think so, I think you guys are all full of shit.
Gilgeous-Alexander does have an edge defensively, which those raw stats don't quite capture. The Thunder guard will get some all-defensive votes this season. He's been a reason, but not one of the main ones, for a historically elite defense. He has great anticipation, and his knack for getting deflections is a big part of why Oklahoma City turns teams over so frequently. Jokic surprisingly averages significantly more deflections per game, ranking 7th in the league. He also has great hands and seems to know where the ball is going, but his mobility is an issue, and the Nuggets team defense is not close to the Thunder's. Jokic's offensive edge in terms of playmaking, scoring efficiency, and offensive rebounding are much bigger than the edge Gilgeous-Alexander has defensively. In a vacuum, most agree he's the better player. Legendary sports analyst Dan Patrick noted that while Shai is likely to win the MVP, it should be Jokic.
Saying that he's not going to win the MVP, but he should. Joker could have 4 MVPs. He could have 5 MVPs if you include this year. He's playing at that level. But, he won 3, and then all of a sudden it's, we can't let that happen. LeBron James hasn't won an MVP since 2012. He was 28 years of age. I find that amazing that the best player in the game, or at least for during that period, a good portion of that period, never won an MVP. He got to the point where, okay, he finished second 3 times. Conceivably could have 7 MVPs. Joker could conceivably have 5. If you're being fair to what you see, we get caught up in, okay, best player on the best team. Okay, well, the best player on the best team right now is Donovan Mitchell. And I haven't heard his name at all. But Shai Gilgeous is an incredible scorer. But he's not better than Joker. He's not. You could ask Shai Gilgeous. He'd probably, in a true moment, say Joker's a better player. Shai Gilgeous is going to say, I'm a better scorer. But better all-around player? It's not even close.
Nikola Jokic is more valuable to his team. He was the lone all-star on his team this season. Jamal Murray has played much better of late, but it was Jokic single-handedly holding the Nuggets up for the first few months of the year. He's turned Christian Braun into a solid starter and completely revitalized Russell Westbrook's career. The depth between the two rosters is not comparable. Aaron Wiggins and Alex Caruso would be starting on most teams. They are 7th and 9th in minutes per game, coming off a stacked Thunder bench. Peyton Watson and Dario Saric are in those same slots for the Nuggets. Neither player would be able to crack the Thunder's rotation. The Nuggets would be a bottom feeder in the league without Jokic. They've gone 2-4 in games he's missed and been outscored by 201 points while he's been on the bench. The Thunder would still be a great team in the league without Gilgeous-Alexander. They've been able to withstand his loss, going 1-1 in games he's missed and outscoring opponents by 56 points.
I think it's close. I think Nikola Jokic is the best basketball player in the universe right now and has been for at least 5 to 6 years. I don't like when awards are given to people due to voters fatigue or due to...
Thank you. This is me clapping, by the way.
Somebody's won too much. They did it with Jordan. They've done it with Kobe a couple years, even though Kobe only won 1. He should have won like a couple of those. But if we're going to be fair, they did it to Jordan. They did it to LeBron. He is the most valuable player to his team. If Nikola was not on the Nuggets, they'd be a lottery team playing for Cooper.
Voters are sometimes reluctant to keep giving the honor to the same guy. Call it voter fatigue. It happened when Jokic lost to Joel Embiid in the 2022-23 season. It could be the case again if SGA wins. This season, Jokic's PER not only leads the league, it's the second best mark of his career. If advanced metrics aren't your thing, consider the following. He's on pace to average a triple-double for an entire season. For Jokic to accomplish this as a big man is extraordinary. Also, this is not stat padding. The Joker has to post those numbers for his team to be competitive. The Nuggets aren't as deep as they were when they won the 2022-23 NBA championship. Jokic is under pressure to deliver every night, and he does. What Nikola Jokic is doing on what is objectively a weak team is really impressive.